Mateusz Łewyk from Warsaw University. We speak about the strengths of truth principles.
So thank you very much for the possibility to talk here. So my talk is a part of a larger, say, program that we have in Warsaw. So we investigate the properties of axiomatic theories built in the following way. So we take a base theory B, which is expressed enough to formalize syntax, and I'm very grateful for Fiona for showing that such theories can be really weak. Although unfortunately I won't concentrate on such weak theories. To the language of B we add a new predicate T of X. Intended really T of X is a true predicate, so X is a Gödel code of a true sentence. And then we add some extra axioms for T, and then we see what happens, what is the resulting theory. So as I already announced, we focus on the case where B is equal to PA. So it is not quite that weak arithmetic, but so for sure the theories we will study will be weak subsystems of some theories. So maybe this is the best justification I can give for this talk being presented during the Journées sur les Arithmétiques Faibles. So LT denotes the language of arithmetic related with T. So let me give an example. UTB is the LT theory extending PA with the following set of axioms. So for every formula phi of arithmetic, we take separately such and such an axioms which says that phi holds on numerals naming x0, xn, if and only if phi holds of x0, xn, where x0, xn's are universally quantified. This is called also uniform parity by conditional and name. And to UTB we also add full induction scheme. So these theories can be really simple and really, so in comparison with PA, really and really proving no more arithmetical sentences than PA does, as is witnessed by this theory. So it is relatively easy to show that UTB, in fact, an easy compactness style argument shows that UTB is conservative over PA. Okay, so, and we are, in particular in this talk, we are interested in comparing various sets of axioms for T with respect to their arithmetical strength. And this we define most straightforward way. So TH1 is stronger than TH2 if and only if TH1 proves more arithmetical sentences than PH2 does. So in order to compare theories which has the same arithmetical consequences, we often focus on classes of models of PA which are expandable to models of respective truth theories. This is a little bit more complicated, but also a very natural idea. So if the same sentences are provable both in TH1 and TH2, then we consider the following. Then we compare TH2 with TH1 with respect to their models. So TH2 is stronger than TH1 if the class of models of PA, which expands to model of TH2, is properly contained in the class of models expandable to TH1. So in this talk we focus on the proof theoretical aspect. However, this second one is also our focus. And this is also the focus of our group in Warsaw. Let me introduce the most basic theory that will occupy with during the first part of this talk, and let me also so CT minus is the basic classically compositional theory of truth. So it contains axioms that are taken from the standard Tarski's truth definition, but we formalize syntax inside PA, not from the outside as usual, but we use arithmetical resources. So, for example, to introduce some conventions, so for all ST means for all XY, which are codes of closed terms. For all phi psi means for all phi psi, for all XY that are codes of arithmetical sentences. So 2 points are important to this theory. So the truth predicate is defined only for arithmetical sentences. So it is a stratified truth predicate, as in the case of the original Tarski truth definition. And we have inductive clauses in our language. So if we add induction, then we obtain CTN, which is CT minus extended induction for sigma n formulae, and CT is CT minus with the induction scheme for the whole language.
By sigma n formula, you mean arithmetical sigma n or sigma n of t?
So all the truth theories, they are extensions of PA.
Yes.
Yes. So CTN is adding induction for sigma and formulae of enriched language. So containing the truth predicate. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I would denote them sigma n of t or with oracle t or something like that. So it's not really the good old sigma n that we know.
Yeah. Yeah, but for sigma and formulae of LT, mm-hmm. You're right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the starting point in investigations about CT minus is that it is proof theoretically weak, but the proof is a little bit more complex than in the case of UTB, and in fact nowadays we have 3 independent proofs, so the theorem is really true, and so it states that for every arithmetical formula, if CT minus proves phi, then PA proves phi. Mm-hmm. However, the situation changes as we add induction. So to concentrate on something easy for starters. So if we have sigma 1 induction for the truth predicate, then such a theory is strong enough for proving the global reflection principle over PA, and this is what I call a global reflection principle. For every arithmetical formula, if it is provable in PA, then it is true. And in fact, the proof of this is a rather straightforward arithmetization of a standard soundness argument for Hilbert's type truth predicate. So you prove that axioms of PA are true and that truth is preserved by inferences in first order logic. And there are basically no problems with, say, restricted amount of induction, because in CT1 everything goes smoothly, goes through smoothly. Okay, so let me depict the situation that we have. So we have here a conservative theory. Here, high above, we have the whole CT, which is by standard arithmetical reasons strictly stronger than just CT1. Mm-hmm. So the theories here are non-conservative. This one is conservative, and we may ask, where does the boundary between the conservative and non-conservative extensions of CT minus? So how to locate this line demarcating? So it was proposed to be named by Ali Nayat the Tarski boundary, since we are dealing with essentially Tarski style issues. And the natural questions one asks: what is the status of delta zero induction for the truth? predicate. So for sure it is weaker than CT1, but the question is whether one could say repeat the same argument as for CT1 or not. And moreover, the second question, so we have seen that CT1 is strong enough for proving the global reflection principle. Well, now we may ask in a sense, reverse mathematical kind of question, which means are necessary for proving the global reflection principle. So which, in terms of the natural principles for the truth predicate. Let me now concentrate for a moment. So let me ask, what time do I finish? 20 minutes. Okay, great. So Henryk Kotlarski, in his paper Bound Induction and Satisfaction Classes, presented a proof of the fact that the global reflection principle is provable in CT0, but around 2008, Richard Heck and Albert Visser, they both found an error, or essentially a gap, not an error in his proof. So one of the steps was not that clear whether it can be proven within only delta zero induction. So let me maybe give you an example. What is the problem? So suppose you would like to prove the following principle for the truth predicate. So for every two terms and for every formula with at least one free variable, if the values of two terms are the same, then if you substitute those terms in a formula in the same place, then that doesn't change the truth of resulting formula. So since since this V can be located in a, say, non-standard syntactic depth of phi, then this doesn't follow simply by compositional axiom. And it is, in fact, a theorem that this sentence is independent from CT minus. So one can construct models of CT minus where this fails. So how we would like to prove such a sentence? So normally one would fix phi and reason by induction on the complexity of its subformulae. So this formula might contain obviously free variables in the generic case. So to secure the inductive step for the existential quantifier, as our inductive assumption for psi, we should have the following sentence: for all beta, which is an assignment which assigns elements to free variables of psi excluding V, psi is satisfied by beta and S if and only if psi is satisfied by beta and T. So the immediate problem is that so this is clearly a pi1 formula of LT. So in order to carry out this reasoning, straightforwardly, one really needs pi1 induction. So for these problems cause people to think that even the question whether CT0 is non-conservative over PA, that is problematic. So for some time on, it was the time when I started working on this problem, it was unclear whether CT0 proves any new arithmetical sentences, and there were even some attempts for showing that it is, let's say, every countable recursive saturated model of PA can be expanded to a model of this theory, which would imply the conservativity result. So the first one to show that CT0 is not conservative was Bartosz Wcisło, which will talk immediately after me. So he showed that CT0 is arithmetically as strong as CT0 with global reflection added. So more precisely, the result is that there is a conservative, basically there is a definition of the truth predicate satisfying this in this figure. Okay, so for this time the question whether CT0 proves the global reflection principle was open, and it turned out that in fact one could give a rather direct fix to an old Kotlarski's proof, but I noticed it only after, say, reviewing our joint paper. And the idea behind that is really easy. So let me go back to this problem. So in fact, in a sense, this is a very generic case. So if one could express the pi1 quantification over assignments as a, say, something delta zero inductive, as a formula which is delta zero inductive in our theory, then all the proofs could be carried out smoothly without problems. So how you do it? So this then, inside this theory, CT0, this pi1 statement can be expressed as first quantifying over a common bound, and then a sequence of possibly non-standard length of bounded quantifiers which bound free variables of psi. So with delta zero induction, one can prove that, say, that the truth predicate commutes with blocks of bounded existential quantifier by a routine argument on the length of such a bounded quantifier prefix, and one can manipulate with finite numbers of unbounded quantifiers by compositional axioms. So what we know is that CT0 lays here on the non-conservative side, or Tarski boundary. So how about such a, say, very generic generic non-conservative theory as simplicity minus plus the global reflection principle, which is obviously non-conservative. So it turns out that this is precisely the same theory, and this theorem is a, say, joint result of mine and GFNC. So basically, that mine input was already outlined. So the following theories are equivalent: CT minus plus global reflection principle, CT minus plus the sentence for all phi if phi is provable in pure first order logic, then phi is true. CT minus plus for all phi if phi is provable from the set of empty, so in pure first order logic, from the set of true assumptions, then it is true. So in other words, first order logic consequences of true sentences are themselves true. And the last one is an analogic principle, an analogous principle for sentential calculus, for purely propositional calculus. Okay, the last one is CT0. So in fact, the current situation looks as follows. So here we have CT0, which has many different natural axiomatizations. And it's, in fact, it's so far the least non-conservative extension of CT minus that we discovered. As for now, the picture looks as follows. There is just one non-conservative theory about the Tarski boundary. So next bunch of results will study the following questions. What is the role of the global axiom for the negation for obtaining this theorem? So now we are happy with such a nice characterization, and now we study what happens when you change CT minus to something compositional but weaker, and study the same principles over this theory. So this, there's one more slide. So arithmetical consequences of this theory. So how strong is it? So URTH denotes the uniform reflection over delta 1 definable arithmetical theory. TH as in Lev's talk, but it's for all sentences without restricting it to a particular class.
I know that R omega.
Yeah, unfortunately, U R omega will have different meaning in this topic. So CT0 is not only uniform reflection over PA, so in arithmetical terms, but omega iterations of but this uniform reflection omega iterate omega many times. To define UR0 over PA, this is PA. In n+1 step, we take uniform reflection over what we had previously, and we take externally we take sum. So it is not an arithmetical definition, but just a theoretical one. And the theorem of Kotlarski is that CT minus plus this global reflection principle, hence CT0, it is conservative over uniform. It is omega iterations of uniform reflections over PA. Okay. So define this weakening of CT minus, the PT minus for positive truth, as the extension of PA with the following axioms. So this is known from CT minus. This is surprising. So we say when the negation of atomic sentence is true. Now we say when the negation of a negated sentence is true. In short, double negation can be erased. This is well known from CT minus. Now we say when the negated disjunction is true. This is well known from CT minus. And now we say when the negation existential quantified sentence is true. And the case for disjunction and for existential quantifiers by the Morgan laws. So what is missing is the global axiom for the negation. So we do not say that negation of a sentence is true if and only if the sentence itself is false, but instead of it we add a separate clause saying when a sentence with a negated sentence starting from one of the basic connectives is true. This is called positive since the T predicate occurs non-negated on both sides of the equivalences. So why is this theory interesting at all? So, let me skip it. But it is model theoretically conservative over PA. So every model, contrary to a CT minus case, every model of PA can be expanded to a model of PT minus. And moreover, PT minus is still partially conservative, meaning that the following formula is probably in PT minus progressive. And this formula is satisfies the axioms of CT minus for all formulae of complexity less than x. So this probably in PT minus can be shortened to a cut. So which, for example, is sufficient for dealing with such issues as interpretability on a cut or obtaining some speed up results. However, PT minus does not prove that every sentence for every either phi or its negation is true. Neither it proves that, say, the extension of T is non-contradictory. So it is too weak to exclude these two possibilities. Okay, so how about this theorem for CT minus in the context of PT minus? Now we have the following theories are equivalent: CT0, PT0. So bounded induction is sufficient for proving that truth commutative negation, the truth predicate commutative negation. PT minus plus this closure reflection principles, meaning that the set of true sentences is closed under reasoning in first order logic, and PT minus plus this closure reflection principle state that the set of true sentences is closed under reasoning in propositional logic. But if you take the global reflection principles, then PT minus plus this sentence is conservative over uniform reflection over PA. So this theory does not allow to iterate the reflection principles, contrary to what happened in CT minus case. And if we take simply the reflection over first order logic, then this is conservative over PA. And so the rest of my talk will be focused on sketching the proof of these two conservativity results. So in fact, they have a common proof. So we assume TH to be either PA or the empty set, and we show that every recursively saturated model of PA plus uniform reflection over TH can be expanded to a model of PT minus. So every truth theory we consider contains PA, so adding PA in here certainly doesn't harm us. So now we define an operator on which acts on a power set of the universe of model M, which would generate the extension for our truth predicate. So what it does? So what it does is that it takes a set and returns. So it takes a set of sentences and returns the set of all those sentences that can be judged through, say, according to PT minus truth axioms, if all the sentences in set A are true. So in order to do this, we simply rewrite these axioms for CT minus. So for example, we say that if phi belongs to gamma A, if for example phi is of the form not psi1 or psi2, and not psi1 belongs to A and not psi2 belongs to A. This is really straightforward. So such an operator obviously can be defined also for CT minus, changing the respective axioms, so adding this global concept of negation. What is different is that for PT minus, this operator is monotone with respect to the inclusion. So we do not. So we keep on enlarging set A. We do not throw out sentences from A. So it enables us to approach its fixed point in a well-known matter. So we start with an empty set, then in the successor step we take the operator gamma on what we had previously, and at limit stages we take a limit. So good news is that if model M is recursively saturated, then we obtain the fixed point on the first possible stage. So at stage omega, so gamma omega is a fixed point of gamma, which is utterly cool since the possible extension for PT minus can be in a sense definably approached. So it can be approached by arithmetically definable sets, because by straightforward argument, each gamma n for natural number n is definable. Okay, so in particular, every fixed point of gamma is a possible extension for PT minus. If gamma omega is a fixed point, then it satisfies PT minus. It is not our desired extension yet. So to do it, we have to take the dual of it. So we take this gamma reverse omega to be the set of all sentences, such that not phi is not excluded by our by our fixed point gamma omega. So how can one think about this gamma reverse omega? If phi is too complicated to be excluded in this by the sequence on the finite level of the sequence of approximants, then we add it to our extension. So, for example, gamma omega, this is a highly incomplete extension for tripling. And there are a lot of formulae that neither this formula nor its negation is true. So dually, this gamma reverse omega will be highly inconsistent. Okay, what's next? So gamma reverse omega is also a fixed point of gamma. Hence, it is sufficient now to show that gamma omega contains all the axioms, all these theorems of TH. So we argue by contraposition. So assume phi is not in gamma reverse omega. Then by definition, not phi is in gamma n for some n. So now we use the fact that gamma, for every k gamma k of x, so for every k gamma k is definable by an arithmetical formula. So that gamma k of x be a natural arithmetical definition of gamma k. So this is a standard formula. So for sure for some L, we have that n things that probably in, so I sigma 1 is needed for later stages, so forget about it for the moment. Probably in th plus all true sentences, gamma n of not phi holds. So gamma n of not phi is a standard sentence or some non-standard parameter. So it's a true sentence in the sense of our our model. Now, by external to n induction on k up to n, we show that for all k less than n, the following holds in n. So for all psi, we quantify over formulae in the sense of m, probably in th plus I sigma 1. So this I sigma 1 is also only in the case where th is the empty set to give this probability predicate elementary knowledge about.
Could it be replaced by
I plus
0
plus
x?
x? Yeah, yeah, but it's then the whole expression will be longer. And okay, and then we argue that being in gamma k implies, say, being true. So in a sense, we prove the reflection principle for gamma k inside this probability predicate. And this is utterly straightforward by definitions of those gamma k's. So in particular, since M has full uniform reflection, then this theory is consistent. In particular, TH cannot prove phi, for otherwise this theory will be inconsistent. And this is the end of the proof. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for this nice talk. Is time for questions or comments?
Okay, so now Katlarski is fully vindicated.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is very nice.
Was there a question? Let us thank the speaker once again.